I have made a lot of videos about planning a trip to Disney World. I've made so many videos at Disney World. But do you know what an old gal used to do when it was like 20 years ago? Go back 19 years to the year 2006. It was my first trip to Disney World ever. My husband and I were only dating, and I made a very large scrapbook as soon as I got home. So I'm going to share that scrapbook with you today. Just a bit of Texie dust. Alrighty, guys. Thank you for joining me down this trip down memory lane. May 6th, 2006, Ron and I escaped without the kids. We spent 4 days and 3 nights in wonderful Orlando. Aw, first trip together, memories to last a lifetime. And then I made the little, looks like it's on a tree, RW plus LB, because we weren't married at the time. The little airplanes, Orlando escape. We spent all day waiting for our delayed flights to Orlando and then missed the entire Saturday waiting in the DFW airport. There was an upside. We lost our hotel room and got bumped up into a villa. We loved it. It was practically an apartment. The tub was the most fun. And I remember this because there was a bathtub right in the main suite. There was the main suite with the bed. Right down here was a bathtub. And there it is. I loved that bathtub. Ron surprised me with a day pass to one of the Disney resort theme parks. When asked where I wanted to go, I said, I want to see princesses. So off to Magic Kingdom we went. I was on a mission. I wanted to meet the real Cinderella. And there's our tickets. And there's the guidebook. We were actually there during the 35th celebration, the 35th year anniversary, the happiest celebration on earth. I had no idea because it was my first trip to Disney World and I knew nothing about it. But I knew I loved Disney movies. There we were on our way. We took the ferry boat over. We arrived just in time for a parade through Main Street. We also had no idea during the 35th, they had these giant statues. During the 50th, they did those little bronze statues. These were more plastic, but they were giant and life-size and around the park. And I had no idea that was something special for the anniversary. I just thought, hey, that's Disney World. The next time we went back, I was like, let's find the Goofy in Main Street. No, that was just for the anniversary. And there's the parade. Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. Mickey. Oh, and we had this special photo taken by a PhotoPass photographer. And when I got home, my mom ordered it because she loved it so much. But that was us, young and in love 19 years ago. Woohoo, and still together. We got married 6 months after this, and we've been married 19 years this year, come October. Now, here we are to the royal coronation. I had not gotten to meet her yet, but we were invited to Cinderella's coronation ceremony. It was so beautiful. All the most special princesses were there. Once again, this was my first trip, so I had no idea that the castle show changes. I loved it, though. To see Cinderella's coronation on your first trip to Disney World, it was magical. Then we were off to ride the rides. Yeehaw! We rode Thunder Mountain. Enough said. And I think if you have seen my previous videos, you might know the story behind this. I was a vision of beauty. You were a vision in shackles. And the reason why I thought he looked so good in shackles is because when we took this photo, we were walking by and my husband saw this mill and he just thought it was gorgeous. He's like, ooh, I want a photo. So I, not having been in any photos that day, propped myself up in the front and was like, take a photo. As soon as we were done, he was like, move away, please. You can move. And he took that photo without me in it. And that's been one of our long-standing jokes over the last 19 years. Anytime he takes a picture of me, he's like, oh, okay, now you can move out of the way. Oh, this was before the Pooh Bear tree was moved next to the Pooh Bear ride. This was when it was just a little playground. Pooh Bear's Playhouse. I always wanted to visit Pooh. Now I know where to go. This tree is now part of the queue for the Pooh Bear ride. But this was 2006. It was not moved yet. And of course, the teacups. I did it. I did it. I hate spinny rides. So I was quite proud of myself for having ridden the teacups. And then here we are, a ride that no longer exists, guys. Snow White's Scary Adventure. I loved it. I love Snow White. I love the Seven Dwarfs. I even loved the new live action movie, Sue Me. It's got some really good music in it, guys. And then we were off. A princess, a real life princess. I stood in line for half an hour, but I got to meet Ariel. She was so very sweet, and I was so excited I blushed. I don't know if you can pick it up in the video or not, but I am. My cheeks are just as red as can be. And these are the highlights of our very first trip. This is the stuff we did. Dumbo was just plastic, but I still had to have my picture taken with him. This was before Dumbo was moved and the ride capacity doubled. This was when the Dumbo ride was out in the sunshine of Fantasyland. And then we went to Toontown. We had to ask around, but we finally found out Cinderella is always at the Toontown Fair. I was on my way. Look at those smiles. I'm with princesses. Wishes really do come true. I was the happiest girl in the world that day. Because for me, going to Magic Kingdom meant meeting princesses. That's what it meant to me. So that's how we spent our time. It took us 2 hours in line to meet these princesses, but we did it. And then it was off to Tomorrowland. A trip to Tomorrowland. We visited Star Command with Buzz Lightyear, and I rode Space Mountain. I was so proud of myself. Look at the pride. That was the excitement after getting off of a roller coaster. Before I met my husband, I did not do a lot of roller coasters. So this was excitement right here. And of course, some enchanted evening. It truly was a dream come true watching the fireworks explode over the castle. I even cried. I dreamed of it since I was a little girl. And I did cry, guys. Oh my goodness. My husband literally taught me that dreams do come true. I was 30 years old when I met the man, and he helped me dream again. As silly as that sounds. A trip to Disney World wouldn't be complete without personalized mousy ears. And I still have those mouse ears to this day from the 35th anniversary. I'll show you at the end. And the curtain falls. Picture of the crowds walking out, the monorail at night. Woohoo! The next day, we started off at a cocktail party and ended up at Pleasure Island, downtown Disney. That's what it was known as at the time. It wasn't really Pleasure Island anymore. It was now downtown Disney. But they still had a Pleasure Island sign left. It was interesting. We ate at Bongo's that night, which is a restaurant that's no longer there. House of Blues is still there. We had a few drinks there that night. Downtown Disney, otherwise known as Pleasure Island, we were definitely feeling pleasurable. In other words, we got a little drunk that night. But that was Disney Springs back in the day. And then Sleep Tight Little Princess. What a beautiful little princess you look like when you're sleeping. I love you, baby. The stuff I do to my poor hubby. But yeah, he does Orlando in his Wranglers. He always has, he always will. And they lived happily ever after. That was in May. We got married 5 months later in October. October 6th, 2006. Oh, and then there's the guidebook. The guide to everything Disney that we got back in 2006. Wow. Wow. That's a whole video in and of itself right there. That's so cool. They're a little dusty, but I still have them. And they're embroidered across the back. That's the only pair I've gotten embroidered because it was my first trip, so that's when I did it. Now I prefer the ear bands. These things have gotten so dusty. But yeah, Texie dust, otherwise known as Laura. And those are my first set of ears ever. The 35th anniversary, the most magical celebration on earth. It sure did get me going back time and time again. I hope you enjoyed this look at my first trip. I certainly did. I loved it.
Hey! Come back, wherever you are!